Alright, here's some more junk I bought on eBay. So some people will buy anything. That describes me. So this here is what's left of a Harley case. It got ventilated. Easy by connecting rod letting go. So this one here is it's a 50 casting with a date code of a month of 5. And it's an E mold. It's a 48 mold, but it's an E version of it, so it's been changed, what, 5 times? So this is an upgraded original pan case. So this one is actually a 51 motor, because over here, you can see the number over here. See the 5-1 right here? It's a 2644. And there's a digit that was here, but that doesn't mean anything. It's usually like a 3 or 2 or something. But the 51 is the actual year that this case was put onto a bike. It was casted in 50, but the next year it made machining and got done and put on a bike. So when you look at these secret numbers, they kind of tell you stuff. Now most of the ones you see up on eBay, they have 5 digits added, which is not legal, not correct. They only had 4 digits, and then a lot of times you see these numbers are a lot bigger than this number, or a lot thicker, deeper. And they should all be the same size and depth and font. One way of identifying cases that have been modified, a lot of them out there. So anyway, this one needs a little repair work, and it should be a good case. It's not broken through the main bearing up in here like they usually do, into the cam hole. So as far as I can tell, there's no cracks in this area. The breather hole is used, but decent. Nothing else looks really wrong except the rod part of company. So I got to clean that up, take a look at it, see what it looks like. This here's a 45 cylinder I bought. Nice and rusty. You can tell it's ready because it's got date coding on here and foundry marks. Once again, you look through here. If there's a radius built into here, it's not bored too big. When it's a sharp edge like right here over here, then you know it's way overboard. Alright, interrupted. Alright, we're back. So when you measure these cylinders, or looking at them on eBay, so you look at the depth of this ring right here, and the more of that that's still there, that radius, the smaller that bore is. You also look at your valve seats. If they don't look like they're sunk very deep, or very big in diameter, that means they haven't been sunk very far. So this cylinder, even though it's pretty rusty, actually looked pretty good to me. And there's no broken fins on it, which is a plus. And the spigots aren't broken down in here, so this actually is a pretty nice cylinder. And I measured it standard bore. So when you get these things over here more cleaned up, I thought I cleaned up one of these things. I guess I haven't cleaned them yet. Anyway, when you look at them here, so when you start losing this radius in here, that means these boards get a lot bigger. So that's what you're looking for when you're buying these things. Unless you don't mind having big ass cylinders. You can also look at the thicknesses up here, but it's more deceiving because you don't have any real reference. So it's hard to tell the difference in these things. But, oh well. I thought I had one I blasted somewhere, but I don't see it. Usually once I clean the stuff, I get it out of my way. It goes elsewhere. Alright, well anyway, we'll get that cleaned up and see what that looks like. This thing here, I want to see if I can turn this into a hydraulic motor. This is your 52 and earlier case, so it has no hydraulic lifter provision. Because they ran hydraulic push rods through the top end rocker feed system. So there's no holes right here feeding it. But they drill through the case here. They got the oil feed hole to your top end, but not for the lifter. So S&S, they come through here. And they come up through this direction and go in that way. But once again, there's no metal in here to do that. So I don't know if I can feed through a cam cover and come through here like they did on the 63 cases. And drill straight through all this. But once again, we don't have a lot of metal in here. It's pretty thin. Not a lot to chew, but there's enough to put a hole through there. So you find a lot of these on eBay, these early ones, because nobody wants to run them. So you can modify stuff and do what you want with it. All right, next thing is another Panhead. Got a collection of them over there on the floor right there. So once again, these things you look for obvious things that are wrong. Fins missing. Like right there, it's 3 broken ones. Always right where the distributor is. Why are they always broken right where the distributor is? Let me think. And, oh, that's dangerous. Don't stand in front of that. There's only one keeper holding that valve guide, or valve spring in there. That could come out at any point and bite you. So you look at all these holes, make sure they're not eaten out. These all look like they're standard size and have not been helicoiled that I can see. Spark plug's in it, so that means there must be a thread. It's an O-ring head, so the O-ring looks good, the lip. 56 casting. So that was 56. They did that as a 55 core pattern. They described in a 6 right where the 5 is, and that was your 56 to early 57 head. These have small fins on it. The later heads have bigger fins that come way out here, and that would be your 57, late 57 and 58 later head. And those don't have anything over here. They have the casting up inside of here. Also, they had, instead of being 4 fin, they had 5 fin. This fin went all the way across. So they had a little more clean area. But, anyway, this one looks pretty good. The exhaust spigot's real nice, not damaged, not replaced. So it looks really good. The intake seat looks like it's sunk in a little bit, which is not good. I don't see any obvious cracks right now. And this gasket surface looks good. So overall, this is a pretty nice looking head. So these are the ones you kind of bid more money on because it's a couple fin repair or easy to do, and the rest of it's pretty nice. So that'll claim to be a pretty good head. This here is an Ironhead Sportster head. These are late model heads. 1000cc stuff, but late. These are 80s. So the width, I like these ones because of a couple of reasons. If you're doing hot rod racing stuff, number one excuse is you have a big thick spigot right here waiting to be cut out. When you have an O-ring spigot, you can only go so big. But see, this one I can bore it out to this big right here, and I can put 3 fingers through my intake port. That's how I do on my race bikes. The other thing these late heads have is they have a real thick rocker box flange right here. See how thick this is? So that makes it really strong. So this is my race bike here. You can see how thin it is right here. That's normal. See, look, it goes down to like an 1/8 inch thickness right there. They're really thin. And what happens is they break out like it did back here, and you got to braze it all up and reinforce everything. Come on, light, get back on. So this has all been brazed into here to make it strong. If you use this head right here, it's already strong. It's got the 2 big bosses already in there. It's good to go. So Harley went to this style head in, for sure by 82, they were using this thick rocker box flange. I'm not sure if they did it before that. It is definitely there. And they started putting this rubber band style intake thing in here in late 79, early 80. There's a little overlapping on the bikes. I've seen them have one of each style on the bikes too. It's real weird. And you also tell these are late because they got the air cleaner mounting bolt right here, which is for that big ugly Habcan air cleaner they ran. So 77 they started putting this stuff in there, I think. For sure 78. So these heads here have a couple broken fins in here, because otherwise these would be going for a lot of money. So I'll probably use these for some kind of a race project. A couple broken fins here and there, no big deal. That whole motor was missing fins. That's why there's no fins here. It was in a crash. So this was a junk head. Junk heads wind up on my race bike. I always make my racing stuff out of junk parts. So yeah, like that. Yeah, that's what I buy that junk for. All right, well, that's what it looks like. So I'll get this stuff cleaned up, and maybe we'll show it down the road. Anyway, that's it for now.